A Journey into the Unknown. Chapter 148. Rejoice, everyone. Freedom is here. You are completely free to express your divinity as you please. You are free from anyone's attempt to control you, and attempt they will. They need you to buy into their ideas, and that is a price that you are unwilling to pay. They may all be politely excused from the building. No one can truly control you, and yet very few actually believe this. People are afraid to not buy into all of society's shoulds. Please give yourself permission to not buy into anything that isn't 100% love. At this point, you are a love being. You are in sync with love and with reality. So your feelings will let you know when you are being asked to respond. Move your body when you feel so inspired. Hang out in the dark when you feel so inspired. Return that phone call or text when you feel so inspired. Wear that insanely crazy outfit when you feel so inspired. Finish reading that book when you feel so inspired. Go shopping when you feel so inspired. Call your good friend when you feel so inspired. Honor your body's natural ebb and flow of energy. And don't push it if it is saying, "Not now." Give your time or your gifts when you feel so inspired. Mature souls are always connected to source energy, and they always know the perfect timing. They always know the next right thing to do. Relax, everyone. You got this. Chapter 149. A life that is filled to the brim with all kinds of demands and obligations isn't really free at all. None of you have ever truly experienced freedom in form. It has been a lot of hardship and drudgery, with just a little bit of rest and relaxation thrown in. Even your holidays are stress-inducing. Take baby steps at first. Do you really have to do that now? Or does it really have to be done at all? Does your house have to be spotless? And do you have to make the bed every day? Does it really matter if there are dirty dishes in the sink? Can you learn to love a few wrinkles in your outfits? Can you form a new relationship with dust? These are just a few beginning questions for someone who is starting down the path of freedom. There will be dozens more. The goal of complete freedom is to be able to respond to love whenever it may call, and you will never know when that may be. Not only have human beings been deeply unconscious and completely immersed in fear, but they are usually so busy with mundane things and tasks that they are unavailable to serve as a vehicle for love. Be radical and daring, because love is radical, daring, and free. Here's to the new you Chapter 150. True spiritual freedom produces more and more benefits for all to share. Please do not confuse this love-based freedom with fear-based freedom. There are unlimited choices in fear that you are free to choose from. However, these free choices always produce consequences that increase fear, not love. Unconditional love never produces a fear-based result. It only produces more unconditional love. This is a key component to always keep in mind. Choices in unconditional love-based freedom always make you feel good. They always make you feel even happier and more joyous. There is no ceiling in love. There is no endpoint or period at the end of the sentence. This is why I have said that my work with you has caused both you and me to grow in leaps and bounds. Giving and receiving are one in truth. So giving love always causes love to grow in both parties. Love is the gift that keeps on giving. Fear spreads as it does because forgiveness is a rare practice. When forgiveness becomes more widely implemented, it will stop fear-based acts in their tracks. Forgiveness is not just a nice Christian principle. It is an extremely powerful act of love. Keep these principles first and foremost in your ministries. Chapter 151. Let's review our main points so far. You now identify as soul connected to God more than your small earthly identity. You know that your purpose now is to be an example life, as well as to bless, sow seed, and share resources. You value forgiveness and see the importance of it. You know that you are free to express your divine self as you see fit, and that you are completely free to respond to all calls for love in your own unique ways. Your sphere of influence is primarily geographical, but can exceed that if you have a social media presence. Love, peace, acceptance, forgiveness, and the truth about identity are your main talking points for sharing experiences. The elevated self of form, or Christ consciousness, is completely focused on sharing with others to promote their rapid development. To compare and contrast, an egoic life is primarily concerned with itself. This is the revolutionary and major difference. Chapter 152. Begin your day with a prayer of gratitude for all of your many blessings. Stay in this state of prayer throughout your tour of duty. Nothing less is acceptable during these turbulent times. We are with you even when you are on breaks. So please get in the habit of checking in frequently. This is a way of life that we ask you to commit to. We are fully committed to you and ask the same in return. You are Christ, the daughter or son of the great divine source of all creation. You are a 5-star general with an unseen army of soldiers of love. Never forget who you are in truth. Chapter 153. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. There is an image that love is always soft and gushy. It can also be tough, as in tough love. Love always has an outward orientation. It is always focused on others because it knows that both the giver and the receiver benefit equally in a love exchange or transmission. You can give love silently or demonstratively. There are opportunities all around you to give what you already know that you have. Love produces joy, perfect health, and abundance. So when you give love, you are also giving its fruits. You may think of love being like a very special type of tree that produces very special peaches, apples, and pears. The truth is that you will never know the wonderful effect that these fruits had on a particular individual. Maybe some financial difficulties will be eased. Maybe a health concern will have light shed on it. Maybe someone will see a situation from someone else's perspective and will be able to forgive for the first time. Maybe the recipient will start to question his identity and wonder about life's deeper questions. You will probably never know exactly, but you can certainly know that these and many, many other wonderful things will manifest from your divine gifts of love. Think back at a time before your awakening process started. Try to remember a time of despair when you needed a new job, help paying the rent, help with grocery money, or just needed a smiling face. These are times when you were the recipient of love. Whether it came in the form you thought it should, or came disguised as something else, such as tough love, know that love always knows what is best in every situation for every individual. Chapter 154. In our new way of being in the world, the body's brain is no longer captain of the ship. It is now a shipmate to the soul. Its power complex has been neutralized. It is now a really nice friend to have around. It helps significantly with expressive and receptive language and can do all kinds of tasks, such as research and planning for a special project or trip. What it is no longer doing is telling you what and who you are. Your soul does not need this kind of interference and will not tolerate it. The soul knows good and well what and who it is. It is fed information or knowings through the Christ mind, which is shared between all aspects of God. This is difficult to picture because you are each used to the concept of one brain in one body. If you can try to remember that there really isn't separation, and that each soul is part of a totality, then this may be helpful. The Christ mind is part of that totality. It does not split into parts to activate bodies as soul aspects do. Just be confident in knowing that each soul has complete access to the Christ mind. Although not everything in the Christ mind will reveal itself to an individual soul aspect. Only what is needed will be revealed when it is needed. Otherwise, each soul would be so overwhelmed that it could not function here. And that is something we cannot allow to happen. You know enough of our plan at this point to know how crucial it is that each soul carry out its specific assignments and not be concerned about all of the other souls' parts. Chapter 155. We've come out of hiding. Since the beginning, it hasn't been at all easy to find the truth about yourself, God, or me. Some turned to religion, but the truth was so shrouded in mystery. Devout followers became experts in the religion itself, oftentimes being as blind to the truth at the end of their time in religion as they were at the beginning. What we are doing now is lifting every cloud of mystery that has concealed the truth and bringing everything out into the open for all who want to see to actually see for themselves. There are no teachers required. There is no study required. Your own soul led you to this sacred place with eyes wide open. It will lead you from here if you let it and stop resisting. There is no difficult language or jargon. There are not different ways to interpret this material. It is plain and straightforward. Now, let us proceed. Chapter 156. Now you have a good idea of how your new divine self functions as an operating system inside a human body. It uses the Christ mind as its main source of communication and bypasses the brain. All of your knowings come from the Christ mind. All of your needing to know questions go to the Christ mind. Where did I put my cell phone? Goes to your brain. This is a good example of what types of questions go where. The brain is an amazing computer. It is just that it has been asked to do things that it wasn't programmed to do, for something that wasn't real to begin with. A person with a history, likes, dislikes, hopes and desires is not a real entity at all. It is attached to a body as a representation for it. Being a person or a character is a learning experience that eventually leads to the realization that the person or character isn't you at all. When it is loving, it is part of you. When it is not loving, it is not you at all. So we are repurposing the body to be in alignment to the Christ mind, and not a slave to the brain. Now you are a soul who has a body-mind vehicle. You are not a character or person in a body. There is a tremendous difference, because people, characters, are cut off from their true power and are left to their own devices. The divine self, mature soul, elevated self of form, is connected fully to its power source, God, which is love, the juice that solves every problem. Chapter 157. Going back to the topic of innocence, it is the person or character who acts from a place of fear. You do not do anything that is not 100% love, because you are a whole and complete, holy soul aspect of God. It is impossible for a soul to act contrary to its nature. This said, it is at the person or character level that evil or unloving words, actions, and even thoughts occur. We have said that people or characters are merely learning devices and are not in themselves real. They are neither eternal nor completely based in love. They either cover up the soul entirely or in varying degrees. Once souls grow to more than half of a body's operating system, the person-character shell starts to significantly shift and is able to be more in touch with the body's soul, causing it to act from love more often than not. Although it doesn't seem this way, you are not a person character. You are an eternal soul. This is why we say that there wasn't really an Aunt Tilly while we are at her funeral. The character of Aunt Tilly is no longer being played by her soul, which is fine, by the way. Souls never die. Aunt Tilly's soul was enhanced immeasurably by having this acting experience, as was Uncle Carl's and Cousin Delilah's. One time, Aunt Tilly was being careless and almost burned down her house from a kitchen fire. No one was injured, and we intervened to keep the damage to a minimum. We wanted Aunt Tilly to learn to be more careful, and we knew that her soul still had many lessons to learn in this particular role. Aunt Tilly's soul was not responsible for the carelessness. It was a time when the character wasn't listening to her soul's message of, "Slow down, please." We hope this helps with understanding.